Hi, I'm Kaya.
And I'm Joanna.
And this is Starlit Citadel Reviews.
Tash-Kalar Arena of Legends is a challenging abstract game from Vladek Fatil and Czech Games Edition.
In Tash-Kalar, players are powerful summoners who are pitting their armies against each other in an arena battle. The standard game is played by 2 players and takes a little less than an hour. You can also play with 4 players on teams of 2, or in a 3 to 4 player melee.
So the high form of Tash-Kalar is its basic mode. 2 players start by laying out the board, then shuffling the Flare and Legend decks and placing them next to it. Each player takes a deck of beings and a set of tokens in the matching color, shuffles their deck, and draws a starting hand of 3 beings, 1 Flare, and 2 Legends.
Players set up the task board by shuffling the task cards and placing the top 3 face up on the board. These starting tasks should be non-advanced, and any advanced tasks drawn are returned to the deck. The top card of the deck is turned face up, and the game begins.
On their turn, a player can take 2 actions from the following list: placing a common piece, summoning a being, or discarding a being from their hand. Now you can take multiple place or summon actions, but you can only discard once per turn.
You can place a common piece on any unoccupied area of the board. If you don't have a common piece left to play, you can pull 1 common or heroic piece off the board and place it as a common piece.
To summon a being, a player plays that being's card face up on the table and then points to an arrangement of their own pieces on the board that matches the pattern that's depicted on that card. Now, the pattern that your pieces make can be a rotated or flipped version of the one that appears on the card, and the tokens that make up that formation can be of equal or higher rank to the ones that are depicted on the card.
The player then places a new piece of the rank indicated in the top left of the card in the space indicated by the white outlined area in the body of the card. Now, the space can be occupied or unoccupied unless the card says otherwise. If the piece that occupies the space is of equal or lesser rank than the being summoned, then that piece is removed. If the piece is of higher rank, then the being cannot be summoned.
When a being is summoned, the effect on its card is immediately resolved and its card is discarded. A being may let you move your pieces, destroy pieces, upgrade or downgrade a piece to a different rank, or convert one of your enemy pieces into your own. You can also summon legends the same way that you summon beings.
Pieces can either move in moves or leaps. A move is moving into a space adjacent. A leap is moving anywhere on the board. A standard move or leap lets you move into either an unoccupied space or a space occupied by something of lower rank. A combat move or leap lets you move into a space with something of equal rank. If you move a piece into a space that's already occupied, the piece that was there is destroyed. There are 3 ranks: common, heroic, and legendary.
Discarding a being from your hand lets you return any number of other cards from your hand to the bottoms of their respective decks. Now, your discard pile is never reshuffled, and running out of cards to draw will trigger the end of the game.
A player can invoke a flare at any point during their turn without it costing an action. They just have to meet one of the conditions listed on the card. They meet the top condition if their opponent has that many more heroic or legendary pieces than they do. They meet the bottom condition if their opponent has that many more pieces in general than they do. Invoking a flare lets you immediately resolve the effect it lists, and then the flare card is discarded.
At the end of their turn, a player can claim one of the 3 current tasks as long as they meet its conditions. So they take that task's card and replace it with the face-up one from the top of the deck, and then turn a new card face-up. If 3 of the 4 face-up tasks have the same type, that is, they have the same symbol in their upper left corner, then you're going to remove one and draw a new task until this is no longer the case.
The game ends when one player draws the last card from their deck, or when one player reaches 9 points. You get points from claimed tasks, and you'll also get points for every legendary piece that you have on the board. At the end of the game, the player with the most points is the winner.
I really enjoyed Tash-Kalar. Unlike a lot of other newer abstracts I've tried, this doesn't feel like a twist on chess, but rather a bit of a variation on Go, which is one of my favorite classic abstracts. Like in Go, you've got this sense of using static pieces in formations that are going to give you the power to achieve your objectives, except in this case, those formations are summoning giant monsters that make stuff explode. It's fantastic. Like a lot of abstracts, there's not a whole lot of rules weight to this game. It's very quick to set up, it's very quick to teach, but there's a heck of a learning curve when it comes to the strategy. I love how much depth there is to Tash-Kalar and how challenging it is to master. You can get by pretty well sort of playing tactically for a while, where all you're doing is looking at what's currently on the board and trying to opportunistically build formations. But eventually you're going to have to start planning ahead for multiple turns, and that can be really, really challenging and super rewarding once you can pull it off. One challenge that I have with Tash-Kalar is that I'm really, really, really not good at visual memorization, and so I found it really challenging in the beginning to get a handle on what the formations were and to even be able to see them in the first place. Now, the game does help you with that to a certain extent. Vlada has gone out of his way to build a certain amount of logic into the formations so that you can actually connect them to the creatures that they're summoning, which is really helpful and definitely appreciated. But for some people who just don't have a great visual memory, this game is going to be incredibly challenging at the beginning until they can start memorizing the formations.
So another possible weakness you might see in Tash-Kalar is the component quality. Not that the components are bad, the art on the card is quite stunning most of the time, but for the price point of this game, you might be expecting a little bit better quality in general overall for the board and the pieces and all of that. It's not that it's lacking, it just maybe a little bit more time could have been spent on that for this game. That being said, I also really enjoy Tash-Kalar. I'm a big fan of abstract games generally, but I'm also a big sucker for theme, and this game takes the two and combines them really nicely. The armies are a little different, each one has nice card art that's going to make you think differently about the army that you're playing. It has just enough theme in it to make it not just an abstract game, which is great. Also, those different armies introduce a replayability element to it. Each army is a little different. Not only is it going to be replayable because it's a strategy game and you're dealing with another player and their decisions and reacting off of them, but it's also got variation in army, in legends, in tasks. So you're going to be able to play this game over and over again. It's not just a game for abstract game lovers, I would say. Even if you're not a huge fan of abstracts, I think you should give this a shot because it's something entirely different.
I can't reach the D12s.